If you think loyalty is proven by words, you already failed the test. If you think loyalty is proven by emotions, you're already vulnerable. And if you think loyalty is proven by history, you're living in an illusion. Because in the world of intelligence, loyalty is not trusted, it is tested. Not once, not twice, but continuously. Before we go deeper, I want you to answer one question in the comments. Who do you trust the most in your life right now? A friend? A partner? A colleague? A family member? Don't explain, just write one word. And while you're here, like this video, subscribe, and share it with someone who believes loyalty is simple. Because what you're about to hear will change how you see trust forever. In intelligence systems, loyalty is never assumed. Not because people are bad, but because human behavior is unstable under pressure. This is the core truth most people don't understand. People don't betray because they are evil. They betray because conditions change. Pressure changes people. Fear changes people. Opportunity changes people. Desperation changes people. Insecurity changes people. Power changes people. So intelligence agencies don't ask, is this person loyal? They ask, under which conditions will this person stop being loyal? That's a completely different psychology. Loyalty testing is not dramatic. It's not interrogation rooms. It's not threats. It's not violence. It's not intimidation. It's behavioral psychology. Silent, slow, invisible. Long term. The first rule: words are meaningless. People can say anything. People can promise anything. People can act loyal when life is easy. So loyalty is never measured in comfort. It's measured in conflict. Here's the real psychological foundation. Intelligence systems don't test loyalty directly. They test consistency, pressure response, moral stability, incentive resistance, fear tolerance, emotional control, identity, strength, decision integrity. Because loyalty is not a trait, it's a behavior pattern. One of the earliest loyalty indicators they observe is micro-behavior. Not big actions, not dramatic moments. Small things. Does a person change behavior when authority enters the room? Do they speak differently to different people? Do their values shift depending on who they're with? Do they adapt personality to environments? Do they seek approval constantly? Do they fear disapproval more than dishonor? These aren't personality flaws, they're predictability markers. Because someone who changes identity to survive socially will also change loyalty to survive situationally. Another silent test is information behavior, not secrets, not classified data, but how people handle small trust. Do they protect small confidences? Do they repeat private conversations? Do they exaggerate stories for attention? Do they reshape narratives to look good? Do they leak details for validation? Because someone who leaks small things will leak big things under pressure. Loyalty doesn't collapse suddenly. It degrades gradually. Then comes incentive testing, not bribes, not money. Subtle incentives, status, recognition, attention, access, privilege, belonging, validation, opportunity. People reveal loyalty patterns when rewards appear. Some people become more ethical, some become more flexible, some become more silent, some become more hungry, some become more reckless. And that reaction tells everything. Another real method is conflict positioning. You place a person between two pressures: loyalty versus benefit, truth versus safety, integrity versus comfort, group versus self, duty versus desire. You don't force the choice, you create the condition. Then you observe. People always reveal themselves in internal conflict. Not when things are easy, when things are uncomfortable. One of the most important tests is silence under pressure. Not what people say, what they don't say. Who stays calm when others panic? Who speaks when silence is safer? Who leaks information when stressed? Who seeks protection when afraid? Who looks for escape routes mentally? Stress exposes loyalty structure. Some people become loyal, some become selfish, some become unstable, some become desperate, some become dangerous. There is also moral elasticity testing. This is deep psychology. Not asking, are you moral? But how flexible is your morality? Do they justify small wrongs easily? Do they rationalize bad behavior? Do they excuse unethical actions? Do they normalize dishonesty? Do they bend rules when convenient? Cause flexible morality equals flexible loyalty. Another silent test: identity pressure. When a person's identity is attacked, ego, pride, beliefs, values, self-image, how do they respond? Defensive, aggressive, closed, fragile, reactive, vengeful, controlled. People who collapse internally when identity is challenged are easy to manipulate externally. Here's the part most people don't realize. Loyalty testing is not about catching betrayal. It's about predicting it. Not, will this person betray? But, when, how, and under what conditions will they break? Because prevention is more valuable than reaction. And here's the darkest truth. The most dangerous disloyal people don't look disloyal. They look helpful, loyal, emotional, expressive, passionate, dramatic, protective, intense. Because emotional loyalty is unstable loyalty. Real loyalty is quiet, calm, consistent, boring, predictable, stable, controlled. This is why intelligent psychology doesn't trust loud loyalty, emotional loyalty, dramatic loyalty, expressive loyalty, performative loyalty. Because performance is not commitment. The real loyalty markers are boring. Consistency over time, stable behavior under pressure, controlled reactions, low emotional volatility, predictable values, resistance to incentives, calm decision-making, silent reliability. And this is where it connects to real life. In daily life, friendships, relationships, jobs, business, teams, families, partnerships. Loyalty fails for the same reasons: pressure, fear, opportunity, insecurity, validation, hunger, identity, weakness, moral flexibility, emotional instability. The systems are different. The psychology is the same. The truth is uncomfortable. People don't betray because they are bad. They betray because they are human. And intelligent psychology accepts this reality instead of denying it. Loyalty isn't about who people are. It's about who they become under pressure. Pressure always reveals the truth. Silence is not empty. Silence is pressure. Not the kind of pressure that threatens, but the kind that invites. When words disappear, the human mind becomes uncomfortable. It begins to search for balance. And in that search, people often reveal more than they ever intended. This is where real intelligence extraction begins. Not with interrogation, not with questions, but with structural control of interaction. Every interaction has gravity. Someone always pulls. Someone always follows. Most people assume the one who speaks more controls the interaction. That assumption is wrong. Control belongs to the person who sets the rhythm. The person who speaks less, pauses longer, and reacts slower quietly shapes the entire exchange. Why? Because humans subconsciously mirror authority. And authority is expressed through calm, not volume. One of the most powerful extraction tools is response delay. Not silence forever, not awkwardness, but deliberate timing. When a statement is made and the response is delayed even by 2 seconds, the speaker's brain starts working against itself. Questions form internally. Did I say something wrong? Was that too much? Should I explain further? Most people don't wait for a response. They continue. They add context. They justify. They clarify. And in doing so, they expose layers that were never requested. This is not manipulation. This is how the human nervous system reacts to uncertainty. Contrary to popular belief, People do not open up because they are questioned. They open up because they feel understood. When someone mirrors emotional tone without agreeing or disagreeing, creates psychological safety. Safety lowers filters. Lower filters increase disclosure. This is why neutral acknowledgement works better than probing. Simple signals like, "I see," "That makes sense," "Go on," these are not encouragements. They are permission slips. And most people are waiting for permission to continue. Information lives in structure, not content. What people say matters less than how the conversation unfolds. Structure reveals who leads, who adjusts, who seeks validation, who resists uncertainty. Observers focus on who speaks first, who interrupts, who corrects themselves, who seeks closure. These behaviors expose hierarchy, insecurity, confidence, and intent. Words are decoration. Structure is data. Most people react automatically. Nods, smiles, disapproval, surprise, but non-reaction is destabilizing. When a statement receives no visible reaction, the speaker loses feedback. The brain hates missing feedback, so it compensates. It adds explanations, examples, emotional signals. This is how non-reaction becomes extraction. The key is neutrality. No judgment, no approval, no resistance, just presence. When people talk freely, they unconsciously reveal what matters most, not through emphasis, but through repetition. Observers track which topics reappear, which themes resurface unprompted, which concerns override others. Priority is revealed by return. If someone always circles back to a topic, that topic holds weight. Not necessarily importance, but emotional gravity. And emotional gravity is leveraged not for control, but for understanding behavior. When people correct themselves, they expose internal conflict. Pay attention to phrases like, "I mean," "actually," "let me rephrase that." Self-correction reveals doubt, awareness of consequence, desire to control perception. Corrections are not mistakes. They are windows into self-monitoring. A person who constantly self-corrects is managing risk. A person who never does is either confident or unaware. Both are informative. Avoidance is louder than denial. People rarely refuse directly. Instead, they change subject, use humor, speak vaguely, generalize. Avoidance reveals discomfort, sensitivity, protective boundaries. An observer doesn't challenge avoidance. They note it, because avoidance points towards psychological pressure points without touching them. Stories are safer than statements. People hide truth inside narrative. When someone tells a story, they relax. They shift from defense to expression. And in stories, people reveal how they see themselves, who they blame, what they justify, what they fear being judged for. Observers listen for who is portrayed as powerful, who is portrayed as helpless, who is blamed, who is forgiven. Stories expose moral frameworks. And moral frameworks predict future behavior. Emotion sharpens memory. When someone becomes emotionally animated, their filters weaken. Observers don't provoke emotion, they wait for it. When emotion rises, naturally excitement, frustration, pride, information density increases. People speak faster. Details emerge. Accuracy drops, but truth increases. Emotion doesn't lie. It leaks. Disagreement creates defense. Agreement creates expansion. When people feel aligned with, they lower guard. Not because they trust more, but because they feel less need to protect. This is why excessive agreement can unlock oversharing, not flattery, not praise, but alignment in perspective. A simple, "I get why someone would think that." That's enough. Sometimes people stop mid-sentence. That pause matters. What they almost say is often more important than what they do. Hesitation reveals fear of consequence, awareness of sensitivity, internal conflict. Observers don't push past hesitation. They remember it. Because hesitation marks boundaries. and boundaries define the internal map. Confession rarely comes as admission. It comes as hypotheticals, generalizations, third-person stories. Phrases like, "Some people do this." "You know how people sometimes." "I've seen situations where," "Hey, these are psychological projections." "Hey, people speak about themselves while pretending they're not." This is not deception. It's self-protection. The safest environment for disclosure is normality. Casual settings, routine conversations, unremarkable moments. When nothing feels important, people don't monitor themselves. This is why intelligence gathering avoids dramatic moments. Drama creates defense. Normality creates flow. Most people listen to respond. Observers listen to map. They map. Emotional shifts, topic gravity, structural dominance, avoidance zones. This mental map becomes predictive. And prediction is the true goal. There is a line, and it matters. Awareness observes. Manipulation directs. This content exists for understanding, not exploitation. The purpose is to recognize information flow, to protect yourself from leakage, to understand others without controlling them. Control destroys trust. Understanding builds clarity. Here are techniques meant for self-awareness and protection, not extraction. 1. Reduce automatic explanations. Silence doesn't require filling. 2. Slow your response time. Immediate answers reveal certainty. 3. Vary routine slightly. Predictability is exposure. 4. Watch your self-corrections. They signal internal pressure. 5. Notice emotional spikes. That's when you reveal most. These are defensive skills. They make you less readable. Because this is not a trick. It's neuroscience. The brain seeks balance, validation, completion. When balance is disturbed subtly, the brain restores it through speech. That's the mechanism. Nothing mystical, nothing aggressive, just human psychology operating as designed. Most people believe they are private. They are not. They are patterned. And patterns can be read. Not because someone is clever, but because behavior is honest. At some point, everyone realizes this truth. I've been revealing more than I thought. That realization is power. Fear, power. There is still a deeper layer. One where information is gathered not through interaction at all but through absence, contrast, and deviation. That layer doesn't listen. It watches life itself. And that's where the most accurate intelligence is formed. Modern loyalty, psychological manipulation, and human reliability. The world of intelligence agencies is evolving. Today, loyalty is tested silently, invisibly, and scientifically. No more dramatic interrogations. No more obvious loyalty trials. Instead, spies are evaluated in ways most people never notice, through patterns. Digital behavior, subtle choices, and psychological profiling. Imagine a room full of people. You wouldn't notice them. They don't look like spies. They act like ordinary citizens. But every small gesture they make, every glance, every word, every hesitation is being observed, measured, calculated. This is how intelligence agencies test loyalty today. Traditional loyalty tests, loyalty oaths, verbal affirmations, or sudden confrontational scenarios have largely been replaced. Modern agencies rely on systems that detect behavioral alignment, consistency, and cognitive integrity. Are decisions consistent with stated values? Are reactions predictable under stress? Does behavior align with internal priorities? Does social interaction reflect stability or drift? This is human reliability assessment, the backbone of modern intelligence work. It's not just about trust, it's about predictability. A spy might never fail an interrogation, but their pattern, what they prioritize, what they avoid, how they make decisions tells more than any question ever could. Every interaction in the modern world leaves digital footprints. Intelligence agencies exploit these footprints to measure loyalty and reliability. Social media interactions reveal hidden allegiances. Search history shows curiosity, preference, and hidden priorities. Communication patterns, speed, consistency, and emotional tone reveal stress response. Even seemingly trivial digital habits, the timing of online activity, repeated behavior patterns provide insight into reliability. This isn't just technology, it's psychological pattern recognition. For example, an operative might analyze how someone reacts when exposed to sensitive information digitally. Are they cautious, hesitant, reckless? Each small behavior builds a loyalty profile long before the person is tested in the field. Agencies go deeper than observing behavior. They construct psychological maps. How does someone respond to uncertainty? How do they handle conflicting instructions? Are they emotionally reactive, or do they pause before acting? Do they seek approval or operate independently? How quickly do they adapt to new information? Each of these factors contributes to a loyalty reliability index, a system that predicts how a person will behave when stakes are highest. This profiling is not abstract, it's real science, built on decades of research in behavioral psychology, cognitive science, and decision-making analysis. Modern intelligence agencies use what can be described as human reliability algorithms, a conceptual framework for predicting behavior. These are not machines or AI in the sci-fi sense. Rather, they are structured systems of logic applied to human behavior. Consider a spy being evaluated on consistency under stress, decision patterns, risk tolerance, ethical flexibility, and influence resistance. By modeling these factors, agencies can predict operational reliability with remarkable accuracy. Human behavior is relational. Even the most independent operative is influenced by the people around them. Agencies map these networks to detect loyalty risks. Who does the operative trust? Who influences their decision-making? Who do they emulate under pressure? This is social gravity mapping. Understanding a person's network allows agencies to anticipate potential shifts in loyalty or reliability. Behavioral analytics and intelligence work is subtle, yet powerful. Agencies observe microexpressions, reaction time, decision-making speed, and conflict resolution patterns. All these factors create a dynamic behavioral profile. Unlike traditional loyalty tests, which focus on a single moment, these analytics consider patterns over time, which is far more predictive of actual reliability. Every human has psychological vulnerabilities. Intelligence agencies identify these vulnerabilities to understand how someone reacts under fear, where their attachments are strongest, and what motivates their decisions. Spies are trained to both detect vulnerabilities in others and protect their own, maintaining psychological resilience while mapping human behavior around them. Modern loyalty tests are risk modeling. Agencies assess operational, emotional, social, and cognitive risk. This is predictive operational psychology. By anticipating possible behaviors before they occur, agencies avoid failures and maintain operational integrity. While you may not be a spy, the principles used in these systems can help in everyday life. Notice consistency over words. Watch behavior under pressure. Track how choices align with priorities, and be aware of social influence. These are self-protection and awareness strategies. Knowledge of loyalty testing should protect, not harm. Use this understanding to strengthen your decisions, relationships, and mental resilience. Loyalty is no longer tested in dramatic rooms. It's measured in routines, digital behavior, psychological patterns, and social networks. The battlefield is invisible. The stakes are high. The winners are the ones who understand human psychology, predict behavior, and maintain self-mastery. Loyalty is structural, predictable, and measurable, not emotional. Control yourself, understand others, and you become the unbreakable constant in any system.